Captain Elias Wren had seen many strange things in his years as a deep space explorer. Planets where it rained liquid gold, stars that sang in frequencies that could drive a man mad, even life forms made of pure plasma. But nothing prepared him for the day an alien baron handed him a living, breathing girl in a glass containment pod, like some priceless treasure in a jewel box, and said it was a gift. It all started on Varshan 4, a world of jagged mountains and twin suns, home to the noble Drakari houses. The Drakari were a proud, reptilian humanoid species with towering crests, shimmering scales, and a code of honor so rigid it bordered on obsession. The most powerful among them was Baron Koresh the Third Spire, a warlord and diplomat whose favor could change the fate of worlds. Elias hadn't come seeking favor. He'd come seeking fuel. His ship, the Wayfarer's Fortune, limped into Varshan IV's orbit after a pirate ambush left half its systems crippled. With only emergency thrusters working, they were lucky to have found Drakari's refueling station at all. The pirates had been ruthless, stripping hull plating, scavenging weapons, and when one of them fired a plasma torpedo meant to finish the job, Elias had done something reckless. He rammed them. The pirate ship broke apart, scattering burning fragments into Varshan skies. The Drakari patrols arrived minutes later, finding the Fortune barely holding together, but victorious. The act hadn't just saved his crew. It had saved the Drakari city below from certain destruction. That was why Baron Koresh summoned him. The Baron's palace was carved into the side of a black granite cliff, glowing with alien sigils and pulsing energy conduits. Inside, towering Drakari guards in ceremonial armor flanked the halls. Elias followed an attendant through chambers filled with crystalline artifacts and banners of past conquests. Baron Koresh sat on a throne of molten glass that somehow never cooled. He was massive, his scale form draped in ceremonial armor, eyes glowing faintly with bioluminescence. "You risked your life," Koresh rumbled in a voice like rolling thunder, "to destroy the sky scavengers. The city owes its survival to you." Elias scratched the back of his neck. "I was just keeping my ship alive. The rest was luck." The Baron bared his teeth in what might have been a smile. Humility, rare among your kind. Then he snapped his claws. Two attendants brought forth something, a glass containment pod, almost like a sarcophagus, humming softly with stasis energy. Inside, curled up as though sleeping, was a girl. She wasn't human. She had pale violet skin that seemed almost luminescent, long silver hair floating weightlessly in the pod's gravity field, and delicate facial markings that glimmered faintly like constellations. She looked young, maybe 19 by human standards, but otherworldly in a way that made Elias hesitate. "This," Koresh declared, "is my gift. A life debt, as your people might call it. Take her. She is yours." Elias blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" "A Kairali dream singer," Koresh explained, as though this clarified everything. "Very rare, very valuable. Her voice bends the currents of thought itself. She will serve you as attendant, companion, perhaps more, a fitting reward." Elias held up his hands. "Hold on. You're giving me a person?" The Baron tilted his head. "Not a person. A treasure." Elias tried to refuse. He really did. But refusing a Drakari gift, especially one tied to honor, was a dangerous insult. His crew whispered urgently that offending Koresh could mean death, or at least exile on a planet full of things with too many teeth. So, against his better judgment, Elias accepted. The pod was loaded onto the Fortune. As soon as they left Varshan IV's orbit, the stasis field deactivated with a soft hiss. The girl stirred. She opened her eyes, silver irises like molten moons, and sat up slowly, taking in her surroundings. When she spoke, her voice was melodic, almost like singing even in simple words. "Who am I?" she asked softly. Elias cleared his throat. Aboard my ship. I'm Captain Elias Wren." She studied him with unnerving calm. "And I am yours?" Elias winced. "Yeah, about that. No, you're not property. I don't own people." The girl tilted her head, clearly confused. Her name was Lyriel. As they traveled, Elias learned bits and pieces about her. The Kairali were a dwindling species known for their psychic resonance abilities, dream singers who could influence emotions, soothe rage, even heal trauma with their voices. Some called them living art pieces. Others called them weapons. The Drakari clearly saw her as a luxury item. But Lyriel herself, she was quiet, observant, almost eerily graceful as she moved through the ship, her silver hair floating like silk in zero gravity. The crew gave her space at first, uncertain what to make of her, but she startled everyone one night when the navigator woke screaming from night terrors, memories of the pirate attack, and Lyriel simply touched his forehead and sang. Just a few notes. The fear vanished like smoke in the wind. The navigator slept peacefully after that. Word spread quickly. The gift could heal minds. Elias confronted her about it one evening in the mess hall. "You didn't have to help him," he said. Lyriel looked at him, those silver eyes unreadable. I felt his pain. It was loud. Loud! She touched her temple. Dream singers hear what others cannot. The echoes in your minds. Your storms. Elias hesitated. You can hear my thoughts? Not thoughts. Feelings. She tilted her head. Yours are heavy. That unsettled him more than he wanted to admit. Days passed. The Fortune limped toward the nearest Alliance repair station, and during that time, Lyriel became part of the crew almost seamlessly. She ate with them, listened more than she spoke, and sometimes wandered the observation deck as though fascinated by the stars. But there was always a distance about her. One night, Elias found her sitting alone in the cargo bay, humming to herself. The sound was haunting, beautiful. Lyriel, he said gently, do you want to go somewhere? I mean, when we reach the station, we can find your people. She shook her head. There are no others. Not anymore. Elias felt a pang in his chest. You're the last? She nodded once. The weight of that settled between them like gravity. Things came to a head when another pirate band ambushed them near the Dralic Rift. The Fortune barely had weapons left. The crew scrambled to battle stations as boarding pods slammed into the hull. Elias grabbed a rifle, cursing. Then Lyriel stepped forward. Open the intercom, she said softly. What? Elias shouted over claxons. Trust me, against his better judgment. He did. Lyriel's voice poured through the ship's speakers like liquid light. Not words, just melody. The effect on the pirates was immediate. Through the security feeds, Elias saw them falter, clutching their heads, some dropping weapons as if waking from a nightmare. One by one, they retreated to their pods and fled. No shots fired. The crew stared at her like she was a goddess. Afterward, in the quiet of the observation deck, Elias approached her. You saved us, he said simply. Lyriel's gaze stayed on the stars. I did not want more death. Elias studied her profile. The silver hair, the faint glow of her markings. She wasn't just some gift. She was someone extraordinary. You're free, you know, he said finally. You can choose your own path now. Lyriel turned to him, expression unreadable. And if I choose to stay? Elias blinked. You'd stay here? On this ship? She nodded. Among friends. A pause. Among people who see me as more than a thing in a box. Elias felt something warm stir in his chest. When the Wayfarer's Fortune finally limped into the repair station weeks later, the crew was alive. The ship was battered but intact. And Lyriel, she stood beside Elias as an equal, not a gift, not a treasure. The story of the dream singer who broke pirates with song spread quickly through the station's bars and markets. As for Elias, he didn't care about the legends. All he knew was that what began as a barren, strange token of gratitude had brought someone into his life who was no one's possession, and who had, in her own way, saved them all